AMX. It's two of them. The batteries are flashing down, so that's good. Yeah, I haven't got another one, so.
Part of it goes up inside the fuselage and the other part comes down, so you can end up unloading once you're back. Four main wheels.
That's a G222 Italian Air Force transport.
ETS, would you please report to the flight centre? That's Captain Stonemark, would you please report to the flight centre? And a message for Adrian Kent, could you contact the message centre please on extension 3124? So Adrian Kent to contact the message. An urgent message here for the owner of the Fairford container estate, registration number FFE53X, platform West 18P. Would you please return immediately? It's the Fairford container estate. Would you please return to your car immediately?
Possibly the most beautiful aeroplane in the world. Anyhow, you'll have a chance to see it take off again and another approach and landing later on today.
took these last shots this year.
Inside the Soviet Union, nearly 3,000 of these aircraft have been built. Over 500 were operated by, as it was then called, Aeroflot. Of course, Aeroflot's now sort of can operate extremely well off unprepared strips, again because it's very sort of rugged underground. If you look out to the left, you see red, white and blue. Well, the team Havilland, the Spanish Aerobatics team, will be running in shortly. Unfortunately, because of the visibility, I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to get a full show. Because of the limited visibility that we've got, that's really not such a good idea. So we'll just have to wait and see the team come in and then we take their final decision. At the moment, we're expecting a C101. It's designed and developed in Spain. Excellent single seat, two-seater in fact, training air. First flew back in 1977. It's Spanish national colours. See the rest of the display. One of the nice things we always look forward to here on the commentary is the way the Aguilar.
The air display is to let our technical experts deal with the matter. Our specialist team will be carrying out a controlled explosion and you'll hear a loud bang. Please don't be alarmed, this is deliberate detonation, there's no danger to anybody, but please follow any instructions of the security staff and police officers who are at the scene. It's in Kaha L for Lima. So prepare for a bang from that area.
Turn off together. Slow back, 1 minute. That's the slow back.
Yeah.
I have a message here for the Air Excel crew. Would you please go to the Hercules Club? Apparently you're needed. So the crew of the Air Excel, would you please go to the Hercules Club? You're needed there. And would the following Concorde passengers please report as soon as possible for their flight? It's now departing at 12:41. That's Mr. and Mrs. Burns, Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher.
Draken. Here it goes, here it goes, here it goes.
The aircraft comes from the 10th Wing in southern Sweden, the 103rd Fighter Squadron.
So much about the problem was
there, ladies and gentlemen, he's back in the ground here. And that concludes the display by the Swedish drafting for today. And I shall be coming back in a couple of minutes for a display that many of you have waited for, the Swedish Aerobatics. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to it. We've got to see taxiing over there. And display from the drafting. Interesting to note that he deployed his braking function before he did his
I have a message here from the police. We're looking for a gentleman who's in the crowd. He's aged between 56 and 58. He's fairly thick set, about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He's wearing a full beard. He's also wearing a black t-shirt with a B1 logo on it and black jeans. So if anybody sees him, could they put him...
Also from the experimental establishment Pratica di Mare, just the same as the G222 we saw earlier, and we should be seeing the ANX later as well. Now this is a triplane. It's got 3 wings. It's got pusher propellers, and it gives a very interesting display. Major Massimo Barocco, who's a former operational pilot in Tornado. Now flying this amazing triplane. Twin engines, I said, but the twin turboprops have the propellers at the back. Actually, we did inquire as to what the advantage of having propellers at the back was, and the answer was, well, it was designed by a naval architect, and they think the propellers are always at the back anyway to support this, and a fully pressurized cabin. You can see there, it has 3 wings, one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back. It's a triplane. Clover lead manoeuvre, changing the direction of the display. The object of the aircraft was to get a very high cruising speed with a turboprop, the sort of speed you would associate really with a jet. It can do something like more than 400 knots to airspeed at a height of about 41,000 feet that way. Now he's going to do what he calls a zero-G stall. He'll take the thing up into the vertical, and it'll just stop and fall out of the sky, but we hope it's not too far. There he is, up to the vertical. I hope the passengers are not actually getting coffee at the moment. This will be all over them. There it is, just falling out of the sky. Not the sort of thing you expect passenger aircraft to be doing. Co-pilot is Major Marco Benanzetti, who is displayed in the other, generally known as a dumbbell. We discovered that the French team up in France were
Swedish Hercules.
BLE, and I think it's rather nicer than dumbbell. I think dumbbell is a better way of describing it. So this is the Italian dumbbell, and I think that Major Barocco is going to bring the Avanti in for a slow pass. High alpha, as they say. With those sort of canards right on the nose, it looks a bit like those fish that you see running along the bottom of the aquarium. Now as he comes towards us, watch for him reversing the angle of bank very suddenly. In rehearsal he did it by rolling underneath, but the flying control committee said passenger aircraft aren't supposed to do that, so he's just doing it very sharply. There's the bank changing from one direction to the other, and there's that extraordinary shape. So you could imagine shortish landing. That's quite as short as we expected.
Piccolo 180.
So, Yagyo P180. Major Massimo Barocco, Major Marco Benanzetti. test centre at Pratica di Mare, turning round, backtracking down the run.
Interrupt you, mate. Sorry about that. I've just been told that the air traffickers are actually listening to what we're saying. We've got it wrong there. Well, I got it wrong. The Concorde is going to depart first. Okay. So the opportunity to see the very impressive departure of that beast at the left-hand end of the runway. In fact, I couldn't really put it better than to say British Airways and Good Travel announced the departure of their Concorde flight over the western approaches, where the people on board will be going supersonic, and the aircraft will be returning back to us later. So let's just enjoy the most beautiful airplane in the world.
He's 47 years old. He has about 5,500 hours, of which half is on the Hercules, and second pilot today is Captain Magnus Rolfsson. The right in Swedish Air Force in the fuselage is because some 50% of our operations are abroad, mainly relief operations and supplies for the United Nations companies. Puts up for a wing over is 140 knots. It is actually possible to roll the aircraft. On the way down, the aircraft is just about 3 keys. Following this wing over follows another one. The Hercules in Sweden are based at the F7 wing, which is south of the lake Vänern in southern Sweden. We have all 8 of them there. Now, after this wing maneuver, the Hercules is going to make another 360-degree turn, but this time the aft ramp is open. And one of the crew members is visible around and in the rolling ramp. And I think this is your from that elevated position. Operated it since 1965 or something. Very light, transport. And here you can see the crew member standing on the ramp, waving at you, and from his position up there he sees you, so why not give him a wave back? And now after that, Captain Juan de Song prepares the aircraft for landing, and he stressed the aircraft 2.5 G at the most. And the maximum altitude was 3,000 feet. That is approximately 1,000 meters. And we can do this program down to a visibility of 5 kilometers and a cloud base 300 meters. And now follows this tactical approach that I told you about. A very steep dive over the obstacles. And landing in a short distance. There it comes, reversing.
He just raised the undercarriage, found himself airborne. You can also tell it's band tactical that the 23mm gun pods with twin barrels that pivot downwards, rockets, laser-guided missiles, all sorts of bombs, the ATOL missile, the AFID air-to-air missile. You can actually increase the weapon load to 14,100 pounds. Fast run from the left. I think we're going to see him pull up into half a loop and roll out. Good view of all those weapons. It's at low level with a heavy weapon load. Tanks are full of reticulated foam, it says here. That's for protection against explosion. It'll burn anything. Actually looks as if it is at the moment. The other front foot they bought a pair of them, and the other one they've got, which is their spare, has not got, I make that about 50 rounds a second, housed in the port side of the nose. It's pointing more or less at you now.
Pilot was Frankfurt Tabasco, Czech Air Force.
Gate A. So the blue box here, Carlton E485 CTU. Would you please move the vehicle blocking the disabled area? The father of Christopher David Hardy, could you please go to the WRBS tent, which is behind Air Traffic Control Tower? Christopher's waiting for you there. And Ian Gardner from Luton, will you please go to the police station to collect your son?
Navy Tornado from Lilybet.
Basically the same as the other Tornado from the Royal Air Force earlier, except the weapons are specific to naval requirements. It can carry 4 Comet anti-ship missiles,
Set everything
or
up.
it can carry 4 HARM. He's always been with 2 squad. Coming in now from the left. Airborne with a short tactical takeoff.
Italian AMX.
It's a single-seat, single-engine, subsonic aircraft designed as a light strike floater support. It's service in 1988. It's development, 70% of it Italian, 30% Brazilian. The idea was to produce an aircraft with a fairly good performance, but at a modest cost. So it's got limited avionic fit, and it's not planned to operate with a high-performance radar.
I'm looking here for the order of the blue Ford Fiesta, registration number L309WHW. It's parked in the fire lane between car park M and the disabled car park. So would you please move it straight away? That's a blue Ford Fiesta parked in the fire lane between car park M and the disabled car park. Would you please go and move it straight away?
Patrick is 26 years old and joined the Air Force in 1988. Patrick flew contact with 5 hours a day.
passengers on board, sipping their cold champagne. Interesting thing is that at the high temperatures that get caused at Mark II flight, the Concorde will actually have expanded by something between 8 and 15 inches as it goes along. But fortunately, the floor inside the Concorde is a sort of raft that doesn't expand, so otherwise, you know, you might be in danger of losing your champagne and getting out of your reach. That doesn't happen. But it's back subsonic now, just about to land, and it'll have shrunk back to its normal length of about 204 feet. So you've seen it landing from both ends of the runway now. The man who edits the souvenir program also will be producing the book of RIAT. And
That's a bot 105 bit above it.
We're setting up the music and putting it on the stage of the Coliseum next week. But there will be a video, of course, and that's done by Central. But Central are also putting out a whole program on it, a week, 2 weeks, not Sunday. So you'll be able to enjoy the thing several times over. Shooting, of course, will be enjoying the same because we are on. Like this at a public show ever again, probably, except for tomorrow. You can come back and see it all over again here. Flight Lieutenant Mark Seymour,
Rumble in the jungle.
flying the Comet for us today. Well, from Concorde to Comet, you can't really do much better than that. Of the Comet, Flight Lieutenant Mark Seymour. She flies it before us in the last month of the Comet's flying life. Got its name, Canopus, this aircraft, from an Imperial Airways flying boat. Okay, let's go over to Mark Seymour.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Flight Attendant Andy Smith, the Comet's navigator. As we enter a 2G 360-degree turn, I'll introduce you to the rest of the crew. Flying the Comet today is Flight Lieutenant Mark Seymour, who is the senior multi-engine test pilot at Boston Down. Our co-pilot is squad leader Paul Mulcahy, who is also a test pilot, a graduate of the ETPS school, also at Boston Down. Engineer is Master Engineer Nick Newton.
Very much indeed, gents, for that very clear commentary. Just sounded as if it was spoken from up here, really, doesn't it? Of course, the Comet, a very senior representative of the airliner world. Development work started during the Second World War. It was originally going to be a medium-sized airliner with split wings and 4 engines. Originally intended to carry 40 passengers. They started producing 2 prototypes in 1946. The first one flew in 1949 with the Havilland chief test pilot John Cunningham, he of the cat's eyes at the controls. Originally had 4 Ghost engines, and it was way ahead of anything else in the world, including the Americans. The first certificate of airworthiness for a commercial jet airliner was awarded in January 1952, and the first services were from London to South Africa. And then in 1954, tragedy struck. two Comet 1s broke up in mid-air over the Mediterranean, killing a lot of people. It was an unprecedented investigation. Such a thing had never happened before. Nobody knew why an aircraft would do that. It turned out to be that they didn't know the stresses that were put on the aircraft by the pressurization and depressurization. So they paid the price of being first. In that same year of 1954, the first Boeing 707 flew, and it established an American world dominance of the airliner business that wasn't really to be challenged until the arrival of Airbus in the 1970s. So I was saying Canopus, its name, it's the second brightest star in the heavens. Go on, and what's the brightest? It's Sirius, the dog star. But anyway, doing that. In fact, you don't really often see comets at all. More's the pity. What a great privilege to have that here today.
Stop him now.
Used.
These guns on his Well, I did say there were a few beery tears coursing their way down the seamed old cheeks. I think even on board the Concorde, I just heard Captain Steve Wan say how nice it was to see the Comet. Of course, on the Concorde, they won't be beery tears, whether they be champagne tears, I suppose, but same sort of thing. They're all pretty sentimental, these pilots. This is from the Czech Flying Centre at Kaslav. So Czech on the left.
first category is the largest. There is no other formation larger than the first category is. There will be 10 aircraft, 310 Aerobatics MB339 that will take off together in two sections of 5. Another peculiar characteristic is the take-off in two sections. You can see now the test, engine test for, and after that, the two sections will take off from the second section. It will take off very few seconds before the first one. The speed will be reached about now, and it will be 102. First wingman, left wingman will be Lieutenant Ettore Papa, while the first right wingman very glad to show you the line program. It's obviously the best program that I can show you. And here it moved in order to show you how the centering the change formation from the one, and they will perform a barrel roll to the one. G. Schneider, minus 3.5. It's a triangle inverted to a diamond formation, and then they will dive. When you know they will dive, the solar pilot will enter and separate in two sections the formation. Ready for the separation, ready for the intersection of the solar pilot. In order to gain height, he will climb, but the speed now is going to 0. Now is 0, and the solo will fall back on his tail, fall back on his spokes, in order to show you the tail slide. Tail slide for the solar, for the Lieutenant Colonel Stefano Rosa. And while the solar the unique and the largest formation in the world. They are 9 aircraft in 9 different directions. This figure was bought in the 30th, and I would like to simulate control of all the aircraft, but now look at only to the aircraft on your left, on your central aircraft on your left. Very big formation. Landing gears down, fast lowered. Landing lights on. And look at the solar fighters. Formation. Gallery, jet pilot. It's incredible, really incredible for the solo to show you how can a jet aircraft can fly a propeller maneuver. The national aerobatic team, Lieutenant Colonel Stefano Rosa, the solo pilot. Yet to you from Italian Air Force, the threat of the glory. Yet to you know that you wait for tomorrow for the Mother Day show. The time will be 18. We close the air show. The first of the glory will close the air show tomorrow. And I've sent our War Mariner team in order to wait until here tomorrow.
Wow. If you never see another formation aerobatic display in the rest of your life, you can die happy. Riccardo Rinaldi, thank you. We shall look forward to seeing it all again tomorrow.
Well, I'm not sure I can follow that, but I think I have to, because I've got some messages here. Would Colin Woodward and Bob Davis please go to the police station, which is situated behind the air traffic control tower? Caroline LeGroux, would you please go to the information centre at 3 o'clock? We've got 10 minutes, and again, that's behind air traffic control. And Neil Clegg, again, could you make your way to the information tent, please, where somebody's waiting for you? So all those locations are behind the air traffic control.
We've got 40 of them on the static display here. What a wonderful sight. Think of all those Hercules crews, wasn't there thinking about. Anyway, it's the 40th birthday of the amazing Hercules. And in a moment we shall see a formation to celebrate that event from the Royal Air Force. But let's just go back a bit to, well, 40 years ago. And let's hear from Mr. Ken Canestra, who's the group president of the Lockheed Aerosystems Company.
When the C-130 program got underway, the prediction was that we would probably...
And on well into the next century, 40 years old, 40 years young, perhaps one should say, going strong. Let me present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Lockheed C-130 Hercules. But very affectionately.
Very.
So running in from the left with smoke from one of them, the Mil Mi-24 Hind D from the Czech Republic.
It's got a shark on it.
Similar manoeuvre for people who are down the left-hand end of the runway. Hind A had a very angular nose shape, but later models have this much more distinct cockpit layout. See those racks on either side where they carry the weapons? Can also carry up to 8 troops. Watch for the split as they go away from us. There they go. So as they come back towards us for an opposition pass, heading towards each other, you get a good look at the weapons rails on either side. Outboard rails are for anti-tank missiles. Little flares coming out of the back of the aircraft. There they are, there they go now. It's like a little firework display from each of them. No, well, certainly the one on the right. And the one on the left as well. A portable firework display. What fun. The inboard rails on those stubby little winglets are used for the rocket pods or the bomb.
I'm still doing that a bit nearer us, not just down that end. The extra. They got one more than last year, didn't they? That's right.
Transparent bits of cockpit extend below the wing so the pilot can see out all round. 2-seat advanced competition aircraft.
Yeah, I can see the he's going to assess it and go back and show somebody else. They're going to have a meeting.
They already changed the direction of the display from doing a quarter clover manoeuvre. Whole formation upside down now for an upside down fly past.
Hines did a good job of that field.
Speed dropping back to 0. No, just push it over the top, or even pulling it over the top as he gets the speed down to 0. Something of a long shebang, as done by propeller aircraft, as opposed to the jet aircraft that will fetch you to glory. More commonly seen by propeller aircraft. 2 points of an 8-point roll in the vertical, and the speed dropping to 0. This is a tail slide. The aircraft actually falls backwards and then tumbles over. Where the aircraft turns about a point just within the left wingtip there. It's going to do one of these 0 speed manoeuvres first of all. There's the spin. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 turn spin, not bad.
Doing more tail.
And he's not giddy yet, as you can see.
That's good, right? There he goes.
A tumbling inverted spin there.
The R39C. I'd like close support, and it's actually produced by a company called Aerobatics. I'll try that again.
Let 59 Alpha Chops. Check Air Force.
And if you look now to your right, you'll see the Jaguar running in to start his display.
After before. Holding the nose up all the way down to the end of the runway.
Oh yeah.
No, no, he's down.
It's rather unusual, the Jaguar. It still carries air-to-air.
Fighting Falcon.
It again carried a selection of electronic countermeasures, the Westinghouse pod on the left wing, and the a chaff dispensing on the right wing. For recce, it used infrared line scan and ordinary cameras. That's on an actual carried on a pod on the centre line, hard point of the aircraft. Just getting out onto your left this time. Now it's gone a little quiet. We may just be able to hear from
To Hercules is doing the tap demo.
in a standard operation, in fact, you would be able to offload over 80 fully armed troops. And so they were going for some sort of fairly critical objective at the airfield command and control centre, or possibly taking out air defence units to allow other aircraft to come in. So you can see the two aircraft now approaching the runway simultaneously. The aim is that they should touch down at exactly the same time. They're just about going to make that, I think. Then the reverse thrust will be used to stop the aircraft as quickly as possible. Fairly steep climb, again, is for logical reasons. If there's any small arms fire, then by climbing up like that you can avoid the small arms. The aircraft that
slow flight path.
I think you're going to like the next manoeuvre, because jets aren't supposed to do this. which is what I was expecting the first time, but you can see this is very definitely a tail side.
So it's diving.
Wasn't particularly good looking down on aircraft to a flying low level, but the MiG-29 brought in this new radar and quite sophisticated. Of course, the West know quite a lot about the MiG-29s because as a result of the unification of Germany, the East German MiG-29s, of course, became part of the Luftwaffe.
Jordanian Vampire F-11 airshow debut.
This aircraft went through for the historic flight last month, July. So this really is a first public appearance for it. De Havilland Goblin engine, 3,500 pounds of static thrust. Vampires first flew in 1943 as the DH-100. But the first production F1 was not until April 45, just after the war. Its delivery was really, well, just too late for war service. Often known as the spider crab when you see its plan view, probably see why. First Allied aircraft to exceed 500 miles an hour. Be delighted to see you.
Thank you.
Designed by English industry some 40. And here they are in their 1994 display program. You've just seen the opening formation called Delta. The team now descending, still in Delta formation, but acceleration forces climbing up to 4.5 G. Major Ramsay's nickname is Ramsey. His age is 38 years. He is married and has a boy and a girl aged 7 and 5 respectively. And the team still in Delta formation. And right now change of formation into double arrow. Speed is about 550 to 650 kilometers an hour. As they prepare for another loop. Major Ramsay has been with the Patrouille Suisse since 1983 and he has about 850 flying hours on the Hawker Hunter, which he describes as the most wonderful jet plane to fly. 3, and left wingman is First Lieutenant Thoma. He is Cole Paul, his age is 28, and he is the most recent addition to the team, having joined the Patrouille Suisse for this year's season. First Lieutenant Thoma is a qualified flying instructor with the Swiss Air Force, and he has about 460 flying hours on the much-loved Hawker Hunter. Team of 4 going through the loop in He is an active Mirage Interceptor pilot, and he has been within the Patrouille Suisse since 1990. Miss Tunnel Maneuver.
Swiss 30th birthday and last in the Hunter.
Would you please come to the air traffic control tower as soon as possible?
30 years Patrol Swiss, or Jan.
An urgent message here from Mr. Carl Huber. Would you please report to the benefits agency as soon as possible?
From Major Hubert Lubosch. Norbert Lubosch, I'll get him right in a minute.
So Hubert.
Hubert Norbert.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we can't hear from him.
Hubert.
Stand by left Navy close.
Got the rest of the hook down. Air Force
Big
Phantom.
gun under the nose.
They're going to service on with them, soldier on for many more years.
Oh, Hubert is in there.
That's that camouflage colour we got on, isn't it? Yeah. Or you went mistletoe.
Well, as we wait for the Phantom to clear, the next display item is already on the runway up to your right. It's a Mirage 2000. Piero. Joined the French Air Force in 1984. It's got nearly 2,000 hours, just under 1,500.
Swedish Air Force Concorde 5. Oh, it's cool. And this is a Danish sub supporter. Go Finnish Air Force trainer. This is a Saab Lancer. It's got well. Chaff dispenser, laser reflection pod, X-band jamming radio, and 4 cannons in the nose. Swedish Saab Draken. Look at this, the armour. Cannon shells. This is Swedish RIAT. AV8 RIAT. Navy. Yeah. The rest of it. This is the Mirage 4V. First time it's been to a British air show. Saab Lancer. Actually, like the freaking Concorde fly.